I've never been in hardware at anything, my career has only been in software services. And when I looked, when Nick first told me about the company, I started researching it and like watching all the videos, and I was like, this is the coolest looking, this thing is amazing. And like, I can't imagine what it takes to build this and how long it takes. And like, you can build you can like vibe code a software product tonight and tomorrow. Like you got like a UI but this thing, it's impossible. I mean, I guess, what are those stages? Pure curiosity of like, what are those stages of venture when it comes to hardware? Like, is it team? Is like, that's kind of team and a PowerPoint and a nice design, and that gets you the first thing. And the next one is showing prototype. I'm curious about that because in software, you literally could be like, here's my product. Especially now, like people are just like, here's my product. And the VC's like, I don't like that. The next day they're like, okay, I threw that one out. Here's my new product. Like, like you could do that. I've seen people do that. And when I look at what you're building, I'm like, man, this should take forever. I mean, it must take, it takes a long time. And I'm curious what you think, or if there's some standards that are like out there for like the stages, in hardware.
It shows how deeply hardware I am, because I like vibe coding. I've like heard that word, but I don't even know what this is. It's funny. Depends on what investor you talk to, and there are definitely investors that are better at doing hardware and more practice and sort of like get it. And there's probably some similarities, but earliest stages, it's like team TAM traction, right? It's probably pretty similar to how software works, but then the stages, like getting up to say like your Series A or your Series B, it's like showing that obviously the team, like de-risking the technology, proving somehow, and there's different ways to do it, that you have product market fit. And ideally, and especially in down markets, like showing you have real commercial traction, and you have to do it in kind of weird ways, because it's not like a software product where you can have just like I have real customers who are paying real money. Maybe there's some hardware is faster than others, but what we're doing is complex automotive hardware. We're like launching a vehicle platform. We're doing it in less than 3 years, and compared to like automotive, that is insanely fast. Like your average automotive development cycle for a new product is probably like 5 to 7 years, and yet for a lot of venture investors, like 3 years is like way too long.
Right.
So yeah, demonstrating that commercial traction it's you have to be kind of creative. It's like, do you do pre-orders? Do you do like a MVP version of the product? Like you do like a founders edition that like you just try to sell a little bit. And then ultimately, you have to kind of like scrap along somehow, and to the point of actually having the product. And then investors want to see, like, just like what any, later stage investor wants to see, like, show me the money, like, let's see the sales. We want to understand that you're on a path to profitability. For where Lightship is now, that we're very much in that stage of like, okay, cool guys, you've raised 60 million, like get the product in the market. Customers need to like it. We, want to see like, real sales. And we want to see you making money. And that's like, it makes sense. And I'd say it's really reinforced by all the EV companies that have kind of gone before us. Many of them not profitable, and raising hundreds of millions, billions of dollars to fund losses, and that's not something that investors like much at all.
You've started to show commercial traction. How did you do that? Like at the very beginning, was that through pre-orders? Was that how the founder edition? Like how did you do that at the beginning?
Yeah, totally. So yeah, we sell a towable RV. It's all electric. What all electric means is everything inside of it's electric, and we do something crazy, which is we put a motor on the rear axle so it pushes itself. Even though it has a motor, it's still considered a towable RV, something you're going to pull behind a truck or an SUV. So think like an Airstream. This is like kind of the brand that everyone knows. And our first product is absolutely sort of a premium price point. I think of it as kind of like the mainstream premium. You can spend a lot of money on an RV. This is for the first segment where there's quite a bit of volume. And our product, we have a few configurations, but the average selling price is around like $165,000. It's an expensive product.
How much does an Airstream? I don't even know how much does an Airstream.
Basically the same. We kind of price right on top of Airstream. Maybe at a slight premium if you kind of compare like apples to apples. But yeah, and so that all in one was even harder, right? So it's like, okay, cool. So you're going to sell something that's like close to a couple $100,000, right? Like, people aren't going to like give you $200,000 or, $165,000, like sight unseen because you have a PowerPoint presentation, or some renders. And so what we did is we the first 2 years, we spent making a concept vehicle or a show vehicle. So it was like a real physical demonstration of what the product was, but not fully engineered and not sort of like ready to go into production. And we used that to, we launched at South by Southwest, and we used that to then get a bunch of reservations. And on the sort of backs of that, we got a ton of reservations, fortunately. And that was how we then capitalized the business to go out and do the next chapter, which was, okay, actually go out and develop the product, set up a factory, set up a supply chain, and we're kind of like at the end of that chapter.